What up, Corner crew? Welcome back to Culture Corner Wrestling. You know who we are. I'm your host, Brad Bailey. This is Shy Elemental. And before we kick off tonight's episode, I just want to add a disclaimer. We're going to be talking about some sensitive subjects because if anyone's been following the world of wrestling, you know what's going on. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are going on in the world of wrestling today. But Shah, how you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm doing all right. I mean, all things considered, my wrestling fandom is kind of in like a fog right now because of all this craziness going on. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. Definitely better than Vince McMahon, that's for sure. Sometimes money doesn't do it all, you know.
Yeah, hey, good segue because that's a good segue because that's what we're going to be talking about probably for most of this episode. Vince, I mean, Jesus, where can we even start? You know, I mean, we all
Actually, I would like
knew
to do a quick
that he
disclaimer too.
was pretty ruthless. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, like, at points that, like you mentioned, this is going to be
It
like a
was
sensitive subject, and I don't want people to think, because I noticed what happened with Jim Cornette's first reaction video where they were basically in real time going over what it was, and they were just like almost like flabbergasted. Like they were laughing, but like not to make light of like the subject matter or the victim
Mhm.
or anything like that. So I just want to say that if we end up doing anything like that, we're not doing it in any malice type of way. It's more just the absurdity of the subject that we're covering.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. There is no malice. There's no victim shaming. Um, Everything's allegedly at this point, so you're gonna hear that word a lot, allegedly, because it hasn't gone to court yet, and I mean, hopefully it will go to court, and there won't be no backdoor settlements because I think all this evidence really needs to see the light of day, and it needs to be proven, and he is definitely a monster in the terms of what we're talking about, and it's hard to even kinda put into words. We knew that he was a ruthless businessman. We've known that from the start. He was taking over. We knew he had control issues and that sort of thing. But even the counts from Jim Cornette and all these other guys that were with him in the 80s and the 90s, they're even like blown away by it because this wasn't these accusations aren't from 20 years ago. These are from 2019 to 2000 what 23. That's the time that was the alleged time that the abuse happened. So he was already a 75-year-old man at this point, which is
Yeah,
another
you too. Yeah,
wild thing to even think about that he's gotten to it. But how many people before her?
yeah, it's
It's a
crazy.
crazy thing. So let me get your thoughts, Cha.
Well, I noticed one thing. One small thing that Jim Cornette did bring up too that I thought maybe plays a part because we've seen it a lot in sports in general is the CTE angle with this. Not to say that's an excuse or anything, but I mean the guy was taking full on hard body chair shots at 50 plus years old. Now you look at the guys who took him in their 20s and 30s and their brains are fried now.
Mm,
Later on in life, I mean, you're an older guy. You understand how your body changes and whatnot, and you can't take as much, punishment as you used to. So I wonder if that played a
right.
part. But I mean, overall, this is just like crazy. I mean, there's always been, you got the Rita Chatterton rape allegation from 80 or the early 90s, whenever that was. It happened in the 80s. I think she went public with it with Geraldo in the 90s. I want to say like
Right.
91,
Yeah.
92. So there's that. There's been other things. You have I can't think of her name right now. Paul London used to date her. It was a blonde diva. She has made some claims in the past. Didn't really get into too much detail, but definitely made it seem like even Paul London. I watched a thing with him the other day, and he was talking about it. He was like, I would visibly see her shaken after being in his presence alone, and things like that. So I mean,
Right.
there's definitely a lot of stuff in the past. You look at the little boy scandal with the I can't think of his name right now. The gentleman who worked outside the ring, who supposedly there was video of him actually in the ring molesting boys at one point that got leaked. There's
Was
been
it
a
Pat
lot
Pat
over the
Patterson?
years that. No, not even Pat Patterson. That was a different one. Pat Patterson one was he got accused of something along those lines. And there's been a lot of wrestlers who said that he did make advances to them and things like that, or over the years. But yeah, it seems like anybody who's followed the man at this point, after seeing everything you've seen, hearing everything you've heard, seeing the way he behaves, the way he carries himself, the plane ride from hell, this, that, and the third. I mean, when you read this stuff, it's not hard to believe it to be true just based on the way the man thinks and things like that. Now, obviously, we don't know him personally. However, we do know how he operates business wise. And they do say a lot of wrestling characters are just you turned up to 10. So Mr. McMahon, maybe that was more of the real him than we originally thought at the time.
Oh, for sure.
This stuff is just disgusting. I mean, the things he did was like, I mean, if all this is true from what I've read, and I haven't even gone through the whole 64 pages. It's just over the last few days, every day I've been learning a little bit more. It started with the Wall Street Journal article that had the big stuff in it that people really clung to. The pooping, the all that stuff. So it's like, and then every day
The
more
overall
stuff.
abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, the text that came out over the last couple days. Now, my thought on this is, first of all, Vince McMahon, his entire career, if he got accused of anything, would fight it if he believed it was wrong with everything he had and would never, ever admit any wrong whatsoever. He's been paying these women off. So that makes me wonder, did he finally start listening to his attorney, or is it true? Does he know that there is some truth to it that can get him in trouble? So that's that's why he's paying them off. Now the whole in essence, this ultimately is all his creation, but it's extra his creation because, like, he stopped paying this lady. We wouldn't even know this if he kept paying,
Right.
which isn't right, but it's still his fault for being an idiot. Like Jim Cornette was saying, he was like, "Oh, I would never think that he would be this dumb." And I'm kind of right there with him. I didn't know him like he did, but just based on how, business smart the guy was, you would think that he would know that what he was doing was probably not on the up and up. I mean, not even saying about the rape allegations and stuff like that, but just the grooming, the pawning her off to other people. I do think when you see the text with him saying, "Oh, I just told 12 people in production and showed them your pictures and they all loved it and blah 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 and they're all cheering," I feel like those were things Vince was saying for control. I don't actually believe that he was in back there showing 12 people who worked at WWE this lady's pictures and videos and stuff, because I think we would have known about it a
Oh, of
lot
course
sooner.
not. Yeah, he wanted her.
Right.
Yeah, he just
Or
wanted her to be looking over her shoulder every second at work
right. Or
because of
he
the
really
control. You know what I
has
mean?
inspired that much fear in the workforce that none of them would dare even think to say anything negative about him, which I could believe that too. So I mean, the whole thing is just despicable and rotten. The guy is complete. If this is true, which it's all allegedly true, like you said, I mean, the guy has completely destroyed his legacy. Like, the mainstream already was,
Oh, for
for
sure.
years they looked at him like wrestling, how they always perceived professional wrestling. The Vince McMahon, he's a carny, this, that, and the third. And it's like, I noticed recently it was like the world's starting to come around and not treat wrestling like that anymore and treat it more like a legitimate piece of entertainment. And it just sucks that this happens now, especially where wrestling might be in one of its biggest boom periods ever. It's definitely up there with the most mainstream it's ever been.
Right.
So it's probably a good thing that wrestling is in the state that it's in right now, so it can weather that storm. Because if it wasn't for that, and let's say WWE was the only thing going, then what would happen? Because WWE is being investigated along in with this. So what if something happens there, and then WWE can't continue on for whatever reason? If there was no AEW and TNA and all these other companies, the industry would be done.
For sure. I don't want to cut you off, but our co-host is here and our guest is here. I'm going to bring them up. You already know King Charisma. Welcome, my brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And our
Finally,
co
finally,
I mean, our
Jesus Christ.
guest for the evening, he's coming out of parts unknown. Our guest is coming from parts unknown, and, yeah, let's bring him to the stage, man. Gustavo Louis.
What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling?
What's up, my dude?
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
All right. King
Fantastic.
Charisma, Shy,
How are you?
Eternal.
How
What
are
up
you?
with y'all, man? How y'all?
Chilling,
Peace.
chilling, man. All is well.
What the hell is that?
Hell yeah. What's up, fellas? Sorry. I know you guys were having a little I know you guys were having a little technical difficulty getting on, but hey, it is what it is. Y'all are here.
Yeah, this thing had me
We were
doing all type
against
of
him at the moment.
doing hula hoop.
Gustavo, you're our guest, man. Tell us your thoughts on the Vince McMahon situation.
Oh man, messy, man, messy. But I thought he was going to hand the reins over a long time ago just to clear that. I knew it was something going to come out of that, but in this day and age of Me Too stuff, it's like I don't want to see that happen to Vince. You know what I mean? That's we all grew up under Vince. Like to tarnish him, and like you said, I heard him talking like they take that wrestling away, he's gonna be fucked up. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like you said, they were just accepting it as something, not to be corny looking and like kiddyish no more. It's like, all right, now it is where it is, and now that to come on, but I don't know. It's crazy. You know what I mean? We're probably never gonna know the main shit.
Yeah. Could get dirty when they look into this.
I think a lot
Oh
is going to
yeah, man.
come out
Years
if
of
it goes
stuff.
to trial.
Years.
We
Oh
were
man.
talking about that. Yeah,
You're gonna have all type of people coming out the woodworks. Like, yo, you meet, you know what I
it's
mean?
going
So
to be wild.
oh my god.
Hopefully they do. Hopefully he's on the stand and he has to testify.
Yeah, because you seem like even with that time
Well,
with
King, what are
with
your thoughts on the situation?
Um, it's crazy, man. Like, it's obviously like however you want to call it. It's like part of it is disappointing, but not surprising.
mm-hmm.
This has been a long history of you know obviously it's more like this kind of information is more accessible now with so many media outlets being able to have access to certain behind the scenes information, more so than there was back when he first started the business until
Mm-hmm.
a certain point. But yeah, I mean, it's disappointing for like nostalgia purposes. Like being a kid that grows up love wrestling is to
Yes.
love the product that Vince McMahon gave us for so many years and that he was at the forefront of. But it's also to be a fan of the business and know just really that this isn't necessarily a surprise either. He's actually had things like this come out in the past that he was able to just like, sweep under the rug, whether he uses his resources, meaning his
Yeah.
money or whatever the case may be. But to be a fan of the business is to know this isn't a shock. And in the event that everything is true, which to me it looks like most of it will be, um, it's not necessarily a shock to me whatsoever. I mean, this is the same guy who, to himself, who had creative control over the business back in the day, pitched a incest storyline to his own daughter. You know what I'm saying? So this the same dude that did that. So yeah, man, it's disappointing because we don't want to see someone that gave us so much as growing up as wrestling fans. We don't want it to be this way. But being wrestling fans aside and being decent humans first and foremost,
Yeah.
it should be this way. You know what I'm saying? He should go down with whatever ship is coming to him. You know what I mean? 100%. Now, I think it's shitty. I think the possibilities are shitty
Oh yeah, for sure.
because it's like, okay, even if he's out of the question now and he's out of the way, not saying that WWE as a whole is going down with the ship, considering it's at such a high level right now and it's, debatably the biggest it's ever been. I think
They're named in the lawsuit though, so they got to be careful.
exactly, and there's still people in the business, in those front offices, in that backstage
Mm.
that may know certain things or even were involved in certain things that we have no idea who that may be yet.
Yeah.
So careers can be affected, careers that are still present, like some in which we may see on TV even today from time to time. So, you know, I think ultimately the company will be okay, but I don't think everybody's career will be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whether it be a no name
Hall of Fame.
up in the office, whether it be the
Oh
freaking
no,
janitor, or you know what I mean, like
it's gonna
whatever the
get
case may
messy.
be.
Yeah, this whole thing is insane. Uh,
Yeah, they
like,
and the way they've been dropping like hints about people.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
we know it's Brock Lesnar because it's either Brock Lesnar or Cain Velasquez, and the timing lines up for Brock. And then,
yeah,
man, like that dude had, after this came out, had to go home and face Sable. How was that, you
Wow.
dumbass?
yeah. Oh my
See,
god.
now his thing, like from what
Right.
I saw in that though, it didn't sound like the only thing he did technically wrong was ask for the picture of the video of the girl peeing or whatever, right? However, it looks like
Yeah,
that's enough for he's
that's
done.
fucking
He's
wild.
not coming back to WWE. They took him out
Yeah.
of the Rumble, put Braun Breaker in his spot, literally had him run the
Mm.
same exact spots. I don't think we're ever going to see Brock Lesnar again. Uh, I mean, with him too, I feel like with the way he's carried himself in the past, how close he was with Vince, there could be more there to that too. I'm not saying there is,
Mm.
but there could be more, there as well. And like Charisma was saying, that this could affect a lot of people. For sure, people are losing their jobs in the end. A few people, at
Oh
least.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I know that I mentioned this briefly like in the chat that we have off air is there's certain things that happened in the booking with Brock Lesnar that were so questionable over the years and people got so tired of. And
me being one of them.
looking back, you can be like, all right, whatever, like that's just like shitty or laughable booking. But some of it actually makes sense now because it's like, oh, you're babying this guy because he knows about you and you guys have a you guys have that connection there. I'm not it can go hand in hand. I'm not gonna say that I'm not just gonna
Mm.
say that I'm not gonna assume that that's what it is. But at the same time, it's like when you have Mustafa Ali have Money in the Bank, who should have won it, and then randomly this dude comes out and wins Money in the Bank and ruins the whole fans' whole night of the whole pay per view. That's just one example of like questionable booking decisions that may be due
Right.
to Brock being a Vince guy, and the reason that Brock is a Vince guy is because he knows about him, he knows his dirt, he knows a lot of shit that if Brock doesn't
Literally.
get treated a certain way, he can come out and say certain shit about all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trust me, Vince wants to protect his identity more than anything. He can only do it to a certain extent because I feel like when you're such a piece of garbage, there's only so much you can do to protect yourself. But I feel like he had his darlings in terms of, you know,
It's gonna,
getting people
yeah,
certain
it's gonna come
opportunities.
out.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Now,
It's
Gustavo,
definitely
what's your
gonna
take
come
on
out
Brock
when you're
Lesnar in this situation?
trash.
But you say on Sha?
What's your take on Brock Lesnar in this whole situation?
Like shit. The same thing he said. He ain't coming back. He's done. He's done. He's Brock's out of here, man. You know what I mean? And then it's like
Mm.
it ain't no telling, man. Like it's so messy, man. Like that's like a even like I thought he was keeping 100. Vince was gonna go down a while ago with that Jimmy Snooker time, like with that body and all that, and covered
Yeah,
up.
that was crazy.
Yo, like so, it's like yo, you can't keep like you said, you can't if you're garbage, you can't get away from that, man. It just keeps coming back some kind of way around him, man. Even when he gave it to Triple A, I was like, something's up, something's getting ready to come. Like he's handing the reins over all of a sudden. I was like,
Yeah,
this is kind of just a wild power shift out of nowhere. And I was just like, whatever.
yeah,
And
and,
then a couple weeks later, I was like, there you go. I was like, it was a reason why he's stepping down because, like you said, something's going to be true that's going to hit. It's like, whoa, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Video or somebody
Once
testifying,
they
like,
prove those text messages, it's a wrap.
yeah,
And they
man,
can.
you can't, yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
now
Those
what's
text
coming
messages.
behind that now? Like somebody like, wait, hold up. I got this video to show you. Wait a minute. Oh, now the Don is going down. Well, I'm a mysterious send this email that, whoa, wait, oh my, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, it's gonna be like now. I mean, now somebody like I was waiting to get you back. Because look
No,
how
and
many people done died and he shitted on, man. Families like and we just looking at it from a fan point of view as wow, I love Chris Benoit, but we don't know what
Mm.
the hell was going on behind the lines. How people didn't get no money. Like it's just wow. Now people like, oh, he's down. Now I was waiting for this. Look, I have this video of him, oh, it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
and those text messages are wild, and it's crazy because when he first handed over, like when it officially, because he's handed stuff over to Triple H before, but
Yeah,
he's been in Triple H's ear the whole time, like
the whole time,
basically
like, all right, you
changing
just a
shows.
front
He
man, but
still had final say in creative,
and then
but when
popping in
when
the
it was
ring,
official,
wrestling, hitting somebody,
right?
like, he's still in the shits. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
when he officially handed it all the way over, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm just like, all right, maybe he's just old and don't want to do this shit no more.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm
the
like,
main
nah,
old tired,
he's obsessed
just
with power. He's
go over the
obs-
sunset.
yeah, he's obsessed with power. He's had an addiction to having power over the industry for so long. Why, like with old age, that just goes away?
Yeah,
I
because
don't
I'm
think
a
so, especially because he's
WWF
not
head,
that old.
so I'm
So
looking
I'm
at
like,
this way, but you know what I'm saying? Like when the
Yeah,
pop still was time around, like I'm on WWF time. So when I'm thinking of wrestling, my mind is always going back to when I first introduced him. My grandpops is taking me to see Ivan Putski. I'm like, whoa, this guy is crazy. Like I never seen nothing like that. You know what I mean? As a shorty, so now I'm following it to Bob Bacman's, the Dusty Rhodes, and you know what I mean? It's like. So Vince was a baby, you know what I mean? His pops was still around type time. So now to see that and how it transformed to now is like, whoa, you know what I mean? And all that, it's just
he must be slipping in old age. That's the only. I think my
gotta be, man.
thought
Like,
on this
what
is
was
this
you
is the type
doing?
of shit
Yeah.
he's been doing for a long time, and it's just he's old now and he's slipping up, and he's not able to get away with it anymore because he's just not on point.
Like you said, you can only cover up for so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, shit, you can paint a
Right.
tiger. I mean, you going to see
Now,
a stripe,
we
like, you can't get rid of that shit. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Word, but
right. Hell yeah.
crazy,
We
crazy. We shall see. Stay tuned,
we've
right?
talked about Vince, but we also have to talk about the alleged victim. We have to talk about the alleged victim. The alleged victim, she had to be complacent at some point in their relationship. At some point, she had to go along with it, and yeah, it turned bad. But she got stuck, man. And like we talked about off air, is the like Stockholm syndrome. That's basically it. She just
Well, he
felt like she
groomed her. I
couldn't
mean,
escape her situation. And he was throwing money at her. Yeah, exactly. And
he
it
had
really,
nothing.
it's crazy that they did it at the office, and the trafficking charges come from going from
Yeah.
Stanford
Yep.
to New York. So he's crossing state. That's one of the biggest charges he's going to get is the trafficking charges. And that he was only driving 50 miles, not even to go from Stanford to New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
they get him on
this
that.
whole
The rape
time,
charge. He's gone
but
forever. He ain't coming out.
he didn't. He was.
Let's keep in mind this is a civil case though too.
And
It's
what
not criminal.
happens if he goes in
But
and
now,
he folds? Right.
I know the fans is like, yes, we
It
was waiting
most
for
likely
this.
will turn
We was
criminal.
waiting for this.
But what
We got
happens when
somebody
he
who's real testify.
hell yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
You see what they did with
Hell
Hulk
yeah.
Hogan with the steroids? That was steroids, man, and that shit
So
was
what
serious.
happened?
This is, you know what I mean? All type of groups gonna be coming forth and rape. Oh my god, that's messy, man. Vince is some shit, man. You ain't getting out of this one. You know what I mean?
What
nope.
Hate to say it. He's sick, old looking,
what
man.
happens when he
This
flips?
might be his final call.
What happens when he flips?
Who's he gonna flip on though? Trump?
He's gonna
Like,
start telling on people that have more power than him.
And everybody's under.
Who
You know what I mean?
knows?
Whatever
He's
he can
probably
do to
got so
save his
much
ass.
dirt on
Yes, everybody.
bigger than him. Hell yeah.
hey,
Everybody. They gave me this, such and such, and
I think he's gonna go out like it.
so what you're saying is we're gonna find out
I
the
think he's gonna go out
Illuminati
like an
is a
Epstein.
bunch of rapey
I really do. I think that's been
like people.
I think that
Dude,
shit's gonna
who
unleash
knows?
some dirty, nasty stuff, man.
It's been a
Like, it's gonna
story. It's
unleash
been a
some
story.
crazy.
It's
Like,
been a
didn't
storyline the whole
expect that,
time.
you know what I mean? Didn't expect that. Like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, I didn't. Whoa, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, it is a wild situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
I want to move on though,
That
because it's
B
not all
wants to
bad
destroy
in the
that anyway.
wrestling
Like,
world.
we was waiting for this. Yes, now we can. Now that's there. Now we can do it because you gotta think he been eating a long time off of that. It's like real. It's deep, man. It's deep. It's deep. That dude is like damn baby president, man. Like he has a lot of power, man. He has a lot of power, man. He has a lot of power. Been doing this for a long time. Even how he took for that to be WWF, man. Like, look how he just deboed all those little territories, man. Like,
and he did the same shit to them that he did to this chick. Starts paying them, and then stops paying.
Yeah, that's it. You need me. I'm the machine. You need me. Nobody's checking Georgia wrestling no more. Like, what are you talking about? All your stars is over here. So you either gonna take this or shut up. You know what I mean? And he's like, wow. You know what I mean? This it's nasty, man. That right there is what's gonna open up, like you said, a can of worms. There go the saying. Like, that shit gonna be like, whoa.
It's gonna be interesting. We'll see what happens.
I'm not going down for that.
No, yeah, it's gonna be a.
Triple H raped on such and such, and I have it on video when he raped her. Like, Vince is gonna go like, man, I'm not going out like that. You know what I mean? He been on the throne way too long to say I gotta put on an orange sweatsuit now and now subject to this shit. Man,
it always goes back to shit in this story.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild.
What a wanky thing.
Hey, you know, I don't even want to get into that. That's like the grossest fucking part.
Oh my
God, it's such a nasty. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to some of the good shit.
After wrestling, like,
let's move on to some of the good stuff.
Word.
No doubt.
The Royal Rumble, fellas. The Royal Rumble. It went as some of us predicted. It didn't go as well as some of us had tried to predict. But,
and it almost went as some of us predicted.
Yeah, you're right. Cody got it. You know.
Yep, Cody got it. Jay debuted.
Yeah, for real. But Jay debuted. Yeah, we kind of called that one. Punk gets hurt. He's so fragile. I think it's time to retire. You know, if he,
I think
this is it, man. Like, he's not even he's not making WrestleMania, so like,
not this year's.
His body's not letting him do it. His mind wants to. Yeah, so at least we cleared the path for WrestleMania. The path is now clear. Yep. So thoughts, fellas. Gustavo, tell us your thoughts on what happened at the Rumble.
What are my thoughts on the Rumble? It was like you said, the path is clear. Kind of predict what's going on now. Or you can see how the way it's getting ready to shift or whatever. But it was pretty cool. I like how when the Usos was going at it. That was a cool little with the few. Cause my nephew loved him. Like, he just thinks the Usos is like everything. So I had to break him down. Like, what, you know who his people's is? And then that just blows his mind. Like, oh my God, he's like 6. Like, you know what I mean? But he think they are like everything. But I'm like, that's cool. So it was cool. So I watched it with him for a little while. I was back and forth. But Cody got it. So it is what it is. You know? What y'all feel about it?
I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. Not the best ever, but it was
so. Like I said, one of the best ever. It was watchable. I sat there. It was like I was entertained. You know what I mean? Like, wow,
I was entertained the whole time. I would say the least entertaining thing was probably the 4-way, but we kind of all knew what was going to happen anyway. So
it was serviceable.
It's kind of like all Roman's matches for the past year. We know what's going to happen in the end. So
I personally think that the interference was unnecessary. I don't think that. Now, granted, I always think that, but it at least makes sense for like Roman being the most like annoying heel figure in the business. Is like, all right, this dude gets away with everything. He always gets away by cheating and fine. Heels have been doing that since the beginning of the sport. You know what I'm saying? But I think in this particular case, it added nothing to the match whatsoever. I think it was just better if you just had him win clean. We all knew he was going to win. It's fine. There was a couple theories about Randy taking it off of him for Cody instead of having him finish, but I never thought that was the case. So I don't know. I just feel like the interference didn't really add anything to the match. I feel like it was just better having Roman win clean.
It's unnecessary.
It also felt really short. It felt really rushed too. For guys, for 4 guys as powerful as those 4 guys are in WWE right now, I feel like it was underwhelming. Not even necessarily the result, but I feel like the interference was unnecessary, and I feel like it was better if they just had Roman win clean. To be honest,
I agree. The interference didn't make sense to me. You're in a 4-way match. You don't need to manufacture some incident for the ref to be, distracted or
So
hurt
yeah,
or anything.
disturbed.
You
Like,
got
oh, what
both.
happened? Yeah.
And
You
and
got
I feel
both
like
involved. Like, make
I
it
feel
happen
like
naturally within the parameters of the match.
yeah, and I feel like for storyline purposes, I feel like continuing to have interferences happen in the champions match makes it really seem like it doesn't make him seem as unbeatable. Like I know that sounds ridiculous because obviously you're gonna be at a disadvantage when he has the enforcer of the bloodline just come in and interrupt everything and disrupt everything. Of course, it's gonna make it seem like it's impossible to beat him at times. But at the same time, it's just like if he wins clean and he's just dominating everybody, that makes his aura more like respectable. That makes it more like, oh, if Cody or whoever
Yeah, that
dethrones
makes
him
it.
is like it it makes it more meaningful because it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, now it's
They
just
got to
like, well,
work.
if you beat him, it's like, oh, you
Mm.
beat a dude that should have been beat a million times anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't because
He
he's
can't win
always
anyway. He got
cheated
to
his way
cheat.
to everything. You
Yeah,
know what I
like
mean?
you said, now, but like you said, he'd went out clean like that. It'd been like, oh man, like you can say what you want to say about him, but he beat dude straight up. You know what I mean? Like, no, he beat him. Like, you know what I mean? So in
That's what
our
I'm
mind,
saying.
it's like,
So
yo, he defeated him. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's
Yep.
why I feel like even
He,
even if it's gonna make sense
Yeah,
later, I don't know. Like you never know with the long term booking, but that's why I feel like at SummerSlam last year, the turn from Jimmy Uso on Jey Uso really didn't make any sense. It kind of threw a fork and made the Bloodline story run its
yeah, they
course at
did.
that point. Because it was like this really doesn't make any sense. This is basically contradicting every part of the story
They
that we
just
were
make
rooting
it
for.
weak.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think having the
Yeah,
interference in the four
they're
way
making
was
them look
kind of
weak,
unnecessary.
weak as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making him look a lot more vulnerable. You might as well have him clean and have him look like the dominant figure that he carries himself to be with the aura,
Oh
and
yeah,
he's got everything else. The aura when he into the ring, and he's got everything else in terms of the it factor now. But it's like, why not have him just win clean and seem like that dominant figure rather than him being like, oh, this dude should have been beat 10, 15, 20 times already, but he hasn't been because he cheats his way through everything. I think
that's
it's
what I was
better for
getting at.
Now
Yeah.
to just have him dominate
Just
clean.
dominant. Yeah. So now when someone beats him, that next person who he's looking on that
It's
come
like,
up, like,
oh shit,
he
this is the
finally
guy
yeah.
that
beat him.
got Roman. You
He's
know what I
that
mean?
dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's like, whatever. He
And,
should have been got beat. Like you say, he
and
cheated.
they could have done it like storyline where he started, wins like say his first 6 months as champion, cheating, cheating, cheating. Then work it into the story where the commentator's like, oh, this guy can't win without help.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a real strong champion, and then he starts winning those matches by
Yeah.
himself.
Then on
You're
that
building
final
him
stage
up.
match, it's like, oh, they're gonna cheat for him to win, and then like, oh no, wow, one of the
Yeah.
Usos got knocked out, and he actually pinned such and such. Like, wow,
Yeah.
he
No, and,
really
and there's and there's not. This
Rome's
isn't
that
the
dude.
first
You know
time.
what I mean?
This isn't the first time I
Right.
felt like an interference was unnecessary. There's in his whole three plus year title reign, there's been plenty times where certain interferences were just unnecessary. They were just thrown in there
Well, it's
to
constant.
make the point of, oh, this guy is the ultimate dominant heel cheating motherfucker. When the whole time it's like he doesn't really need to be that. You can make him a dominant heel that wins clean, and just I feel like it adds to his aura for his character. So I feel like it's unnecessary at this point. It's been
Jinder
unnecessary.
Mahal had more clean wins than him, I'm pretty sure, on his run.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my god. And
Just saying.
I'm not even a Roman hater because I like
He
the
loves his
character since
gender.
he turned heel.
Loves his
But
gender.
yeah, we never hinder gender, baby. You know what I'm saying?
It's impossible. You can't do that.
Yeah. But in terms of the Rumble result,
Nah, you
though,
can't hinder gender.
yeah,
Gustavo,
can't hinder gender.
Yes, sir.
I'm a couple. I feel like I'm a little bit behind you guys in
Yeah, I think you
the
are.
audio. Yeah, it's chopping up a little bit. But
Yeah, it's
Gustavo,
chopping
my
up to
dude,
do something.
you got to tell us what's up with the mask, my brother.
But the mass is I just want people to really just listen to me. Don't worry about who I am. Just listen. You know what I mean? If you mess with my music, just listen. And then it's my niche. I'm on luchador time. I don't need to show my face. You know what I mean? So That's why I don't want to show my face because I want you to listen to me. Just tune into my music. You mess with me, then tune in. You know what I mean? Then I keep it on the luchador. I like the 3-hole joints. You know what I mean? Like the Blue Demons. Like I said, like Sean. I'm an old head. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like that vintage stuff. You know what I mean? That's why I go on like the on WWE Destroy Your Eggs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Stagger Lee. You know what I mean? When Dusty was Midnight Rider, that's the stuff I came up on. So that's what I like. You know what I mean? So it's like, who's the masked man? You know what I mean? So luchador, and it goes with the narconomics. So you know, it's like cartelish. So Mexican, the mask, boom, there you go. You know what I mean?
Dope.
Thank you, man.
We can't judge the book by the cover.
Works, hell yeah,
man. Nah. That's why I say
idea.
you say, okay, what is he about? Because then you're thinking everywhere I do something, somebody always think I'm a wrestler. Oh, you wrestle? Like, I got you. Nah, I do music. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? But it's got wrestling theme inspired or whatever. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. We had mentioned in our chat that we have to prepare for the show. I was like, your name sounds like a hard ass wrestler's name. Like I could hear Samantha Irvin right now. And please welcome Gustavo Louis. I'm like, yo, that sounds hard, dog.
Yo, you know how many Mexicans be in my inbox? Like, yo, home, yo, where you from? You from Mexico? I'm like, nah, Joe, I'm black, man. Like, what? Oh shit.
Yeah, they're hype, like, oh shit.
They're like, yo, this is cool, man. Yo, we support. I'm like, yo, thank you, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, because like you said, I like that like Blue Demon, El Santos, you know what I mean? Like that vintage joint, you know what I mean? Mil Massacre, they never revealed their face. Like,
he was the man.
Every time you seen them, they was in the street eating ice cream with the mask. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I didn't like when Rey Mysterio, like when he came to WWF, like Vince turned him out, man. Like, why would you make him show his joint? Like, that's the luchador tradition. You don't show your face, man. Like, you gotta go out.
He did that in WCW first, though.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he did. You're right. You know what I mean? But it was like, damn, Ray, but you know, he's trying to be what he is. That's, I guess, you know what I mean? You gotta sacrifice. You do what you gotta do, you know what I mean?
But Vince knew not to take the mask off of him.
Mm-hmm.
He actually asked him to put it back on because when he came in, he wasn't wearing it at the time.
Because that's what I'm saying. When you come that luchador, that's a whole nother world, man. When I was like tapped into that, I was like, holy crap, this is like,
like he had to ask permission to put it back on for that run. I don't know who he asked, the mayor of luchadors or whatever, but like, they take that shit serious.
Oh my, man, very, 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 man, word. And that's why
that was prime time when Vince took kayfabe to a new level. He always took it seriously. I will give him that, but and he kind of never wants it to die, which it shouldn't, to be honest. But I think in this generation now, it kind of we get it not as much as we should. Like, obviously you can have people beefing on screen and then they're all over Instagram just being extra with each other, but now back in that time where Ray first came in, there was almost none of that. At least it felt like. So like you would have to catch them out in public without no phones and all that shit to see. Like, my pop is a funny story where I think it was Roddy Piper and somebody, he saw them as a kid, and he saw them in like the limo next to them on the highway, and it was whoever he was had the feud with at the time. My pop cried because he was like, they're beefing on TV. Why are they being friends? And it's because he was like on the highway in the limo next to him was like
now listen, this is crazy, right? Out on Long Island got the Nassau Coliseum, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in the 80s. So it's like when Junkyard Dog is that dude, Big John Studd, like the cartoon, that's they playing the villain role before all this, how it is now. And it's across the street, it was like a Roy Rogers was there, like a restaurant. And we're coming back somewhere with my grandma's late night, and we go there to get something to eat. And inside there is Junkyard Dog and Greg the Hammer. And they're ordering like food like this, but this ain't like how like back, you know what I'm saying? Like now when somebody got a phone, it's like they probably wrestle, get something to eat, and probably getting ready to hit the highway. But other people really probably not noticing because like then, it wasn't like how it is wrestling now. Like you you can't miss Roman Reigns. Like, holy shit, like that's Roman Reigns. Like you can't go to Walmart right now. You know what I mean? And nobody not notice him. But I was like, oh, but it blew my mind. Like, how they kicking it, chilling? They was laughing, had a milkshake, and he was walking out. I had some ladies with him. I was like, yo, I thought they was beefing. Like, that blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? Like, yo, and I was just crazy. I was like, nobody's never even gonna ever believe no shit like that. But I seen that shit. But because Nassau Coliseum, they used to have wrestling all the time, and right next to it is a Marriott hotel. And my mom's was a worker in there, so they used to have rooms. And I have like, I wish I still had it. I used to have so many autographs from my mom's. Would be like, oh my god, my son watches wrestling, and it'd be like I had the Iron Sheik joint, Great the Hammer. Who else? I had Sergeant Slaughter. I got a picture with Sergeant Slaughter, man. I got to dig that up, man. I might have to, got to cross the face out, but I got a picture of old Camel Clutch itself, man. Cobra Clutch.
That's dope. That's dope. I actually ran into at work a couple months ago, which made me realize I should have been a professional wrestler. I ran into I was at work and Orange Cassidy 2.0 and Daniel Garcia came walking down the hallway, and I was like looking down at them, and that's when it struck me that I should have followed my dream. Because I was like a mountain of a man standing next to these guys, and I'm just like, I fucking blew it. I blew it. I should have been a professional.
I blew it.
Wow.
We should have been wrestlers, Shaw. We decided to rap instead. Can you believe that?
You know, what the hell were we thinking?
Yeah. The fuck?
I feel like there's more money in wrestling. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Of course, we'd probably be crippled by now.
Maybe.
Yeah, man.
Fellas,
Oh my
we're
God.
gonna be wrapping it up shortly. So
oh yeah,
I
we
know
gotta
I'm
talk
still
about
a little bit lagging behind y'all. I can hear it.
Yeah, you are.
Just a
I
little
can hear
bit.
it. Let's get our last thoughts. Let's get our last thoughts for the week of wrestling. Gustavo, wrap it up for us, brother.
What you want to wrap it up on? What on what? On what note?
What are your final thoughts on this past week of news from wrestling?
I'm gonna say alarming, but not too shocking. You know what I mean? But like you said, what is to come? This is like, okay, damn, this was the calm before the storm. That's my thing now. Like, whoa, you know what I mean? Because now here go the rumors and the speculations, and it's just gonna get messy. So that's why I'm like, I just hope it just don't come over into the crap. But like you said, we got WrestleMania coming up. You know what I mean? We fans of it still. You know what I mean? Like, I still want to see. I want to see a show. I don't want to be interrupted by, oh man, he didn't make the card because these allegations are just some nut stuff. Like, I don't want that come over into this. You know what I mean? What they do, big man, he on nut time. Whatever. Let him deal with him. Get him out the way. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why he did step down to. He do put cuffs on. It's like, oh, whatever. Anyway, we over here. You know what I mean? Just hope they keep our attention now with the wrestling to distract us from that crap. You know what I mean? As for that, it's been a cool week. It just, and God willing, we see next week. You know what I mean? So we can talk about next week's action. You know what I mean? This week is over.
There you go.
Sure.
Definitely.
You're
King, what are your thoughts, my brother?
Yeah, man. It's regardless of, obviously a lot of negativity around certain figures in the business right now. We're still in a good place right now as wrestling fans. The Royal Rumble just wrapped up. A decent Monday Night Raw after the Rumble just wrapped up. So there's a lot to come. Obviously, with injuries to certain people, there's a little turmoil in the WrestleMania picture right now. But at the same time, I trust Triple H to get it together to distract us from all the bullshit that's surrounding the company right now, and past incidents and situations. Like, there's so much more to come. There's obviously so much more we're gonna find out, but for right now, I'm just gonna enjoy it the best I can. It's WrestleMania season, and I ain't gonna let that shit ruin it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's WrestleMania season, man. Fuck, I don't want to hear that crap. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
all right.
Oh yeah. Shot, what do you got, brother?
Well, man, this has been a crazy week. One of the craziest ever. I think what we should probably take out of this is, on a serious note, is two things: check on your people and check your people. The reason shit like this is able to happen is because people don't check their people.
Oh yeah.
And they don't check on their people. So if you want to help people and be there for people, you actually have to be there for people. I know the whole saying, like, you know, when you see somebody you haven't seen in forever and they're like, why don't you call me? You're like, why don't you call me? The phone works both ways. You know, forget all that nonsense. Like, if you care about somebody, hit them up, be there for them, be there to listen. You know, I'm sure we all have known somebody who's gone through something, maybe not as harsh, but something similar as this. You know, so try to keep that in mind, and let's just enjoy wrestling. And hopefully this whole thing kind of not blows over, because I don't want to see anybody get away with anything they shouldn't be getting away with. But let's hope this doesn't distract from what is a great time in pro wrestling. I mean, we got TNA's killing it right now. AEW's getting back on track. WWE's killing it right now. You got New Japan. We got what's happening with Okada. Possible. Sorry. Is it Okada? Yeah, I think Okada might be coming over. We don't know which way he's going yet, but and like you said, WrestleMania is coming up. So let's just focus on the positive of this and enjoy it for what it is, you know. And hopefully the things will fall where they may, and whoever did what, you know, will pay for what they did, not literally with money like they've been doing, but like, you know, like I said earlier, if they find out those text messages for real, it's a wrap. They can figure it out. And then from there, hopefully this all just kind of goes back into the background, gets taken care of, and we can just go back to enjoying wrestling for what it is, just entertainment. And also, go buy my album Friday.
I was thinking it. I was like, don't you have an album coming out Friday? You haven't said shit.
I got some dropping Friday
I was gonna say
Hill Rap. It's on Wrestling Time.
Gustavo,
man. Tap in with it. That's with me and the boy Jay Furman, man. It's definitely dope, man. It's definitely for wrestling heads. If y'all on that, it's just straight Hill. I'm doing what I do, man. Like, nah, man, I appreciate. Check it out, man. It's just up there. It should be on all platforms. DistroKid been wilding lately, man. They've been playing a lot of games, man.
Yeah, because last thing I dropped,
they've been acting weird, man. I don't like weird, man.
I put a submitted everywhere but YouTube Music
a long time ago. Yeah, like I got the line of Narco out, which was supposed to came last week. I put it up, and I'm like, damn, they didn't send me even like, what's going on? Like, okay, something going up. I'm promoting like that the album out, and I'm like, yo, something weird. Then they hit me that morning of it came out, like, oh, now the photo. I'm like, why would you say something? So I kept trying to change the photo. Then it kept saying ejecting it. I was like, this is weird. So I didn't bought the album. Now I was like, you know what? I just put it up on Bandcamp, and later on this month, February 26th, I'm putting it on all digital platforms. But Friday, go check out me, Shy Eternal, and my joint Hell Rap Friday, man. You know what I mean? For the wrestling heads, tap in with that, man. You know what I mean? So when this airs, this will be out on the 2nd. So that's what's up, man.
Yeah, fuck with us.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, you know, invite me out. Thank you. You know what I mean? And you got a new family member, man. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep myself familiar and well acquainted with all y'all, man. Word.
Sure.
Real talk, man. I appreciate y'all even tapping in, inviting me to your table, man. Word. Likewise.
Hell yeah, we're gonna,
Anytime. I'm here.
We'll be looking. Hell yeah, we'll be looking forward to it.
All right, I figured out.
We'll be looking forward to having you on again. We're gonna work out something for the Hip Hop Happy Hour podcast.
Yeah, let me know. Whatever you need.
All right, fellas, we're gonna be wrapping it up. I know.
Hey, Sha, I'm gonna hit you on the gram, man.
We're gonna be wrapping it up for the evening. I know I'm still running a little bit behind on the audio.
Definitely.
Yo, Brad, salute, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah. All right, fellas. Again, it's been a good show. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be back next week. You know how we do. And yeah, it's going to be Friday by the time this comes out. Y'all need to go cop Gustavo Louis's new shit, Heel Rap. You know, go cop Charlotte Mental with Bo Fott, that new International Dastardly. Hell yeah, there's going to be a lot of good shit coming. We got Reef the Lost Cause is dropping the Triumphant. Go grab that shit. You know, the whole everybody's working. So for Culture Corner Wrestling, man, we out. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.